Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
B15. Mom's going out of town for a week. Leaving me alone. Fuck yeah. Avi. First day was fine. First night I have a fucked up dream. Only part of the dream I remember is the very end. Strange girl. Skinny, pale as death, hair like grease. Starts snapping her head, neck and limbs in strange directions. Let out a scream akin to The Thing. Scream wakes me up. Can still hear it for a few seconds after I wake up. Shake it off as a bad dream. Go to make myself breakfast. Keep seeing shadows out of the corner of my eye. Finish making breakfast, go take it back to the room. Glance down the hallway while walking to the room. The girl is just standing in the far corner of my mom's room. Snaps her neck up and stares at me. Nope out. Get into the room. Slam the door behind me. Lock that shit up. Sit in a chair shaking for 30 minutes. Calm down eventually, decide it was just my head playing tricks on me. Finish eating and take the plate to the kitchen. On the way to the kitchen, I can't see my mom's room. On the way back I have to look. She's on the other side of mom's room now, closer to the door. Fucking points at me with backwards arm, elbow facing upwards. Dive into the bedroom. That was no mind trick. Grab a rifle. Aim it at the door for what feels like an hour. Nothing bursts in. Decide it's safe enough to go back to browsing the internet with my rifle next to me. Do this for the rest of the day until it's late at night and I can no longer suppress hunger. Bring a rifle with me to the kitchen. Make a fine-ass dinner. On my way back see her again. She's in the doorway of my mom's room now. Stand watching her because I feel like hot shit with my rifle. Look her over. Arms are both backwards. Right leg entirely backwards. Left leg jutting out at a weird angle. This angers her apparently. She snaps her jaw down. Lets out the exact same scream from my dream. Starts dragging herself along towards me. Morale check. 0%. Jump into the room again. Same procedure as above. Finish dinner in the room. Thinking over my situation. Pretty obvious I can't call anyone and rant about spooky ghost girl in my house. Decide the only thing I can do is try to face it head on. In the morning, try to stay up through the night. Eventually fall asleep in the computer chair. Have the exact same dream again. When she screams I wake up again. The doorknob to my room is jiggling back and forth. Thank Jesus I locked it. Aim rifle at door. Jiggling stops. By now I'm entirely losing it thinking I'm going to die. Luckily she doesn't try anything else and I just spend the rest of the night online again. Spend my time thinking over what I'm going to do when I face her. Live in a city so I can't exactly shoot at her unless I absolutely have to. Decide the best thing to do is try to hit her with a bayonet on the end of my rifle. The dawn comes. It is time. Fix bayonet. Charge out of the room and down the hallway trying not to shit myself. Charge all the way into mom's room. She's not there anymore. I look all over mom's room trying to find her. Nowhere to be found. Start heading back down the hallway to my room. She's in front of my fucking door. Decide to stick with the original plan. Charge. Run right through her, feeling nothing but cold. Run directly into my room and fall flat on the floor from momentum. Look behind me to see what's happening. She turns slowly towards me. Starts walking into my room. Kick my door closed on her. She turns into a cloud of fog. Lay where I am for a while thinking. It's clear I can't hurt her. It's also clear I don't want her to do whatever the fuck it is she's trying to do with me. Decide the best thing I can do is stay in my room until mom comes home. Luckily I was weird and had emergency supplies of food in my room. It turns into a siege for the rest of the week. I can't leave my room. Every time I fall asleep I have the same crazy dream. Every time I wake up to her fucking with my door. As time goes on it gets more and more aggressive. Eventually it goes from jiggling the doorknob to slamming into the door with a loud bang. By the 6th day I've almost completely lost it. No sleep and constant stress make me insane. 6th night, I know I just have a few more hours until mom comes home and I'll be saved. The thought relaxes me. I start fading and fall asleep. Have the same dream. Wake up at the same point. This time something is different. No slamming on my door. Dead silence for a few seconds. Then suddenly there's a crash of breaking glass. Sounds like it was from mom's room. Realize this is actually happening and not in my head. Grab a rifle and run out into the hallway. Can't see shit because it's so late. Suddenly a shadow figure runs out of mom's room and into the cone of light coming from my room. Hear the scream again. I've completely lost it by this point. The shadow figure drops to the floor. I fumble with and eventually turn on the hallway light. There's a knife on the floor. The shadow figure I saw was a human. Big pool of blood around him. Between this and the 6-day siege my mind shuts off entirely. I pass out in the doorway to my room. Wake up to someone shaking me. It's a cop. The neighbors had called when they heard shooting. I tell the cops what happened that night, omitting the previous 6 days. The man I had shot was a known felon who had been breaking into homes to steal things. Mom comes home. Cops explain what happened. Everything is fine, I'm okay. After that night I never again see the girl or have that dream. I'm still not sure what to think about it, if it was some sort of guardian angel or just my brain going haywire and it happened to be helpful.
Be me. B9. Go to an elementary school situated next to a swamp and a woodsy area. Walk home every day with friend on a path that goes through the swamp and woods and connects the playground to our neighborhood. One day, late spring. Meet up with friend to walk home. There's still kids on playground waiting for parents to pick them up, and the woods have a lot of frog, bug, bird, etc. noises going on. Take a few steps onto the path. Everything suddenly goes silent, no kids, no birds, nothing. Friend and I look at each other and then look behind us. We can't see any kids on the playground even though there were a couple dozen just a second ago. We start to run. A couple seconds after we start running everything takes on this bluish, dusky lighting. The leaves on the trees are unnaturally green, it makes me nauseous to look at and I've never seen a color so bright since. Eventually reach end of path. As soon as we step into neighborhood there's normal lighting, normal sound, normal everything. Brush experience off as a dream as I get older. Until one time in 8th grade my friend, we drifted apart by then, and I were assigned to an English project together and she brought the path incident up. A couple years back my mom mentioned the time I called her when I get home from school crying about how the leaves were too green.
Be me. Be about 4. Latino. Dad walked out on mom and me when I was 3. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Rar. Mom consulted a Santeria like twice a week. Weird statues in weird places. Once found a statue inside a file cabinet mom had in the storage room. Mom would put crosses made out of sticks in my pillow and shower me with weird herbal baths all the time. Always really paranoid about my dad coming back and kidnapping me. One night I went to sleep. Wake up in the middle of the night. Bed was surrounded by people dressed in white. They were there, but not there at the same time. Like I could see through them. Closed my eyes without saying anything and covered up with my sheets. Woke up the next morning and nobody was there. Visits to the Santeria stopped shortly after that. That was over 20 years ago, and the memories still pretty clear. It wasn't until I was in high school and I did a bit of research that I found out that Santeria ceremonies involve dressing in white from head to toe, and some of the entities they revere are depicted as dressing the same way. Mom changes the subject when Santeria is ever mentioned.
Haven't seen a thread like this in a while, so okay. I'm not green texting because I'm sick of seeing so much of it. One night when I was little, I guess 7 or 8. So this would make it between 1993 and 94. I was laying in bed and had trouble sleeping. After a while I heard what sounded like a marble rolling back and forth in the attic, or in the ceiling at least. Rolling back and forth in the same place over and over. We lived in a small house, so I could hear my parents wake up and hear it too. My mom bothered my dad to go see what it was for maybe 2 minutes or so. She kept telling him to get up and see what the noise is, so after that nagging, he finally quickly gets up, cussing a little bit, and heads to the laundry room where the pull-down stairs are to the attic. He goes up there, and there isn't a sound for about a minute, then suddenly there is a bunch of loud crashing noises. It sounded like a tall bookshelf full of cast iron pans were pushed down on a tin roof or some shit. I got the fuck out of bed, I was panting and all keyed up. I stood there dead silent and heard my mom walking towards the hallway. My dad gets there and she of course asks, "What the hell was that noise?" He just says, "What noise? Go back to bed." She insisted there was a noise over and over to him. To this day I retell this story to him and he swears the incident never even occurred. He actually says a lot of things never happened, which is weird. A bunch of other shit happened in that house, which still scares me. Oh, and my great-grandmother performed an exorcism with burning sulfur, I don't know why, to rid the house of spirits. My dad got extremely mad now that I think of it.
Be a little fourth grader. My scam artist aunt taught me how to read hands, cards. And basically how to BS it. In school, scam all the girls and boys. By kinda regurgitate horoscope predictions. And just make things up based on what my aunt taught me. While holding hands and drawing. Even got a kiddie spell book. And would draw protection symbols on kids' hand. Or love, money, etc. symbols. And this one popular healing spell. Like if a kid fell and was crying, I'd get him to hold his ear and tongue. And breathe a certain way while saying some chant. And it took away the pain. But really it probably just distracted them. All this to get a few extra bucks for lunch snacks. And I saved enough for a Pokédex by Christmas. Which was stupid expensive for a little kid at like $150. Only told one of my friends it was all a scam. 'Cause they were bullying her. So we could laugh back at them in secret. Eventually some boy comes up. All in my face for weeks calling my bullshit. Outside lunch he's talking shit in my face and pushing me. I get more upset. Telling him to leave me alone. Or I'll curse him. He's laughing at my bullshit, getting more in my face. Shout some stupid enemy spell I read. You were supposed to light candles and do circle stuff. But whatever. Wing it. It's all bullshit anyway. Only say the BS spell 2 times. And suddenly fucking thunder and downpour. Shit got real. Other kids watching screamed. That boy got silent as F. I'm smiling because this is hilarious. Nobody wants to stand close to me when we line up. Or talk to me for the rest of the day. I probably seemed super creepy 'cause I would keep laughing about it. Hear kids telling him to apologize, so I'll take the curse off. He's just quiet. Kids telling me to take it off for him. Nah, the school year is close to an end. The only time he talks to me is on the last day. Offers me a 20 to take the curse off. Damn, but I'd already made a lot that day. So fuck him. Besides, I figure that everyone will forget by the time school starts again. He's in tears. I don't give a fuck. Next year apparently some shit happened over summer to him. Or he just blamed any little bad luck on me. 'Cause he's mad at me. But also afraid. And won't sit near me. And begs a teacher to put him in the other class. Other kids accuse me of cursing them. I say outright I only ever cursed one boy. And it should be done by now. Really, that curse was supposed to be an invisible to your enemies thing when I looked back at it. The teacher gets mad when he hears about this. 'Cause he's this super Christian dude. Tells them I'm lying, but at the same time makes me more spooky. Because he reads the Narnia books. And keeps alluding to me being like the witch. Kids tell me I should curse him too. Say I don't need to. 'Cause I read his fortune. And now he's gonna die sad and alone and all that, having a terrible life. Do more fortune telling for sale. Everyone is all, wow, so accurate, to my vague BS. End up going to a different middle school than everyone in elementary. So they never see me again. Most hilarious thing was we all believed the girls' bathroom was haunted by this dead army lady. So they were all, you have to cleanse it, and I just did some candle, smoke thing, but then the boys said theirs was haunted and they just had to deal with it because I couldn't go in the boys' bathroom.
Drama club, high school. Girl cast member asks me to pick her up for play practice one night. Tells me she lives in a community at the end of a certain dirt road in the woods. Says she'll keep an eye out for me. Go to pick her up, drive down dirt road. Notice weird shadows and movement in the trees on either side of me. At end of road is a gate with a sign, please honk twice, do not enter. Stop car and honk twice. Fucking freak show carnival of weirdos come drifting out of the woods. Like a nightmare, weird shuffling maniacs talking to themselves, stumbling aimlessly around. Nope. Gonna back up and leave. Drama girl appears from nowhere and hops in car smiling.
Sorry I took so long, Anon.
We go to play practice. Turns out this was some kind of commune for the insane, drug addicts, and attempted self-enders. Called Stone Soup or something. Not sure why Drama Girl was living there, didn't want to get involved. I guess this place still exists. In a woods. Fuck. Still gives me the creeps thinking about it.
Me and friends use a Ouija board. I don't believe in this shit, it's just a stupid piece of wood. We ask who we are speaking to. It gives us this weird name. It's a pronounceable word but sounds ridiculous. We get bored and stop without saying goodbye to close the portal, because we didn't know we were supposed to back then. We are haunted for 5 months by 6'4" lanky black-skinned red-eyed demons, who have no hands or feet but instead their limbs become spikes at the end. They jump scare the living fuck out of us for 5 months, right in our face. The haunting finally stops when I turn a corner down a hallway and there is a demon only 2 feet from my face, closer than ever. And for the first time ever it begins speaking. But I can't understand it because 1, it's saying shit way faster than humanly possible, and 2, it may be a different language, but even if it is English I wouldn't know it at that speed. I scream and this ironically startles the demon and it runs down the hall and leaps through the ceiling never to be seen again. But also, it stole all my spiritual power somehow, and I have none to this very day, and that was 9 years ago. I was always in tune with the universe, with high awareness, or whatever you want to call it, before that demon did whatever it did. It probably spoke a spell or curse on me.
B15. Just got my first girlfriend. Immediately DTF, fuck yes.jpg. Have to walk about 6 miles to her house on a road that is right next to spooky woods. Do it for the nookie. Been walking for a good 30 minutes. Starts getting dark. Out of nowhere I hear a loud noise that resembles a hog being killed. Think nothing of it, as hogs have been encroaching on our land, and I've heard of people killing hogs who get too close. Then see a large hog run across the road. Completely ignores me. After shitting my pants, I continue to walk, kind of unnerved. Begin thinking of what could have scared a big hog like that away. Almost pitch black beyond the streetlights. Hear some wood snap close by in a woods. Hear heavy breathing and low growling. Sprint the rest of the way to GF house. Tell her about it, and she says she has seen a large animal walking through the woods once. Never walk to her house again. My face when the nookie wasn't even that great. I live in Saginaw, Texas, by the way. There are a lot of woods and open wilderness here. Especially when you get closer to Azle and Lake Worth.
Wasn't really a child, but I'll tell it anyways. Went to a small college. One of the dorms old as hell, built before World War II. A good friend, we'll call him Steve, lived in this dorm before they tore it down. Apparently the building was haunted as shit. Self-ends, girl hit by car outside of dorm. Steve said that while living in the dorm weird shit would happen all the time. Steve went to school before cell phones were a thing. Would get random phone calls at super late hours, only to have an empty tone on the other end. Saw shadows standing over his bed. Drawers, doors open on their own. Stuff moves from places where he specifically remembered putting it. On the anniversary of D-Day, every time he turns his TV on, it is on the History Channel, which was running D-Day specials. His TV was not set so that the History Channel was the default station. Steve does some research, finds that the girl who was hit by the car died on D-Day. Steve, being the adventurous type, more or less embraces the ghost, wishes it good night half-jokingly. When they finally demoed the building after Steve graduated, he took the nameplate that hung above the dorm from the dumpster. 3 years later, enter me. Junior in college, need a place to stay for summer. Steve says he has an extra room at his house, so I stay with him. Tells me stories about ghost stuff. Don't really believe him. Whatever.jpg. Steve still has the dorm sign and hangs it from a ledge in his house. Says the ghost followed him and that he gets jealous whenever girls come over. I still don't believe him. 2 weeks no problems. 3rd week weird shit starts to happen. Hear footsteps outside at night. Lights turn on and off. Try and suck it up and move on. One night my girlfriend comes over. Don't tell her about spooky stuff so as to not scare her. I collect old records. Recently I got one that is a collection of old 30s and 40s swing and jazz. Put it on while my girlfriend gets ready for bed in my room and I take a shower. Come back to my girlfriend freaking out. Says that as soon as I left the room and the music started playing, the lights flickered and the box fan, which was leaning against the wall, fell over in the opposite way as if it was pushed. Steve was right, and he lives with a jealous World War II era ghost.
I live in suburban Houston. We have a creek behind our neighborhood, and more housing beyond that. Pretty densely populated and middle class, so not a lot of spooky opportunities. One summer day my father, and our dog are walking along the creek, when our dog got lost in a field of tall grass at least the height of an adult male. Dad goes in after him and tells me to stay put. I, being stupid and concerned and 6, go in as I hear his calls for the dog continue. I quickly become hopelessly lost, when suddenly a swarthy-looking kid who looks no more than 15 touches my shoulder as I begin to tear up and says he will lead me to my dad. I, lost and sad over our dog's disappearance, follow him without question. He leads me past a fence I recall being covered in shit, odd for our area, and odder yet a fence in a field of grass that tall. Soon enough I am led out, and next thing I know there's Dad and the dog right outside the grass. At this point the kid has disappeared and my dad to this day swears he never saw anyone. I am kind of convinced he was my guardian angel or some benevolent spirit. Not too exciting, but a first for me to share.
Probably about 15.
Neighbors have grandchildren that come stay with them occasionally. No kids in the area play with them, even though they were slightly younger. Decide to play hide and seek. My house is surrounded by woods on every side. Only rule is you can't hide in the woods. One of the kids and I hide under a large bush in our horse turnout, fairly close to the woods. The other grandchild was the seeker, and eventually we could see her walking the perimeter of the woods.
I see you guys.
Not looking towards us. Looking in the woods. Continues to call for us to come out. Can tell it's not just her faking it, really seems convinced she sees someone in the woods. I reveal where we are to stop her.
But I saw you guys, you were in the woods.
WTF. Closest house is way back in the woods, in another development. She's still convinced she saw someone very close to the edge of the woods. I should add it was our property. Kinda scared at this point, wasn't hunting season. Get more concerned when she said that the person appeared to be looking at her. Said person would have been looking in the direction where friend and I were hiding the entire time. Run in and tell father, bring out the dog. Dog doesn't pick up anything. Still not sure what happened that day. I don't think it was a spoopy ghost. There are people that live behind us, but to go up to our property you would have to go up a steep hill. At the time, all of us were teenage girls, Minecraft YouTuber maybe. And I often wonder what would have happened if I hadn't called out to her. I pray it was nothing and the girl was embarrassed for having mistaken a rock for us or something, but her face told a different story.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.